Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, October 29th, 2018. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Real quick programming note: I will be hosting a monthly outlook Thursday after the market. This is going to be November 1st, so it's going to be the November monthly market outlook. If you were around for the October monthly outlook, we talked about the potential for a sell-off to occur and for the potential for price to drop as low as the 27.0375s. You would have been ahead of that if you would have joined me on October 1st. I know many of you were. Hundreds of you saw the video afterward as well, so you could see the type of behavior. We'll be talking about what to expect coming up for October. And we're also going to talk or what happened in October, and then we'll talk about what's coming up here in November as well and what to expect, because again, we could be looking at much more weakness if certain levels are not reclaimed, and we'll talk about that here pretty soon. So join me please on Thursday, November 1st at 3:30 p.m. Central. We'll go through the monthly outlook for November and heading into the end of the year. All right, let's take a look right now at the ES here. You can see after we've sold off significantly, we got a bounce, came between 4.5 points of getting our target, and then dropped another big leg. That's a pretty significant drop here. Right now you can see a pretty nice little bottom and a bounce that we've seen. However, I don't trust it. I don't trust this bounce right now. There's a couple of things I don't trust about it. Actually, more than a couple. Let's take a look. Number one, this is not a strong low. You can see that price closed Friday basically just above the midpoint for the day. That's not really a strong low. You do see that there is a great midpoint retest and bulls are getting fed right now. However, we are testing the previous day's high here. So if there's any rejection of that high, that's going to be an early indication of weakness here today, or perhaps weakness to come in the coming days. So again, that's another thing to watch out for. 27.0375 is the major pivot, so price has to reestablish acceptance back above that level to even have a fighting shot in the short term. If there's any push above it and a rejection, it would occur here off of the 8-period average, and the 8-period average, that's the best spot to sell it for another rotation downward. Additionally, and lastly, you can see a lower value relationship coming into the next month. Bearish bias here. Any push into that, even to begin the month, could be a selling opportunity to come. So again, a lot of forces pushing against the bulls right now. And again, while we may see a little near-term upside, if there's any failure to hold above 27.0375 or this prior high, we could be looking at another round of weakness here to start the month. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. You can basically, again, like a lot of the analysis here lately, copy and paste this analysis. Another wave downward. This one has a key level here at 69. It's the bottom of this key range as well. A little bit of a rejection here. That's near-term bullish. It's near-term bullish. But you can see this rejection day is not the strongest. Right now it's having trouble. Price is having trouble at the prior day's high. Again, another level to watch for rejection in a downtrending market. We haven't even got to the 8-period average. That's the trigger zone in a bearish market for bears. And then you have the lower value relationship for the next month. So we can push into it and still see weakness in the coming month. So again, a lot of negative forces here. In order for this one to really see some strength here, meaningful strength, price has to get back above 7,200 in the near term. If not, there's not a whole lot of upside here. And instead, we could be looking at a continuation back toward recent lows that would take you down towards 62. And that would probably be a best area to buy heading into the new year. So let's take a look here at crude oil. If you take a look at crude, very narrow day that we have, or narrow 4-day range that we have developing. It's not quite finished. This is a 4-day range here. It's not quite finished because today's range is included in that. However, it is very narrow. $1.96. It averages 360. That's 50% of average, and so that's very significant, and that tells you that a compression will likely lead to expansion. If it's to the upside, that's the direction we've been talking about. It could be to the upside, just like this one was. That was a narrow compression that led to a great rally back towards 71s. I think that this one could lead to a great rally at least to 72s before maybe seeing some weakness and then a continuation. So I think that the next 3 to 4 points could be to the upside. However, if there's any failure to establish acceptance above 68 on a breakout attempt, that could be a big push lower to 63 to 64. So again, just because it's a compression doesn't say anything about directional bias. So this thing could easily break in either direction, but right now anticipating that the break will attempt to be to the upside, and we'll judge whether the continuation takes us to 72 or whether a rejection leads us lower. Lastly, looking at gold, you'll see here gold futures testing. It's testing here 1240, not having a whole lot of luck getting above that level at the moment. That's a key level, and again, we need to get through that level in order to open up the next zone to the upside, which takes us up to 1287 and as high as 1300. That's the next major target. We've done everything, you know, the bulls have done everything they need to do to keep this thing bullish. However, we could see a pullback, perhaps as deep as 1216s next month. That's the midpoint of the current month, and still be a great opportunity to buy for a move into 1287. That might be the best area to buy. That could be a plus 70 into that target. And so again, if this thing were to pull back as deep as this area, it could still be a great buy. We are at the trigger zone right now. That's been a near-term area to buy here recently, but again, bumping up against 1200, 1240, and not being able to get above it. Sometimes you need to auction down a little bit, build some steam, and then you see the squeeze work out. Below 1216 opens up a retest back toward 1186. All right, that is it for now. Again, please join me November 1st. That's going to be Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Central for our PivotBoss monthly outlook. We'll get after it and look at opportunities for the upcoming month and heading into the rest of the year. All right, that is it for now. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.